Okay, shalom, shalom, Kwem Yasha'Allah, Koholoyamla, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Rechahakodash, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the Akim and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Awaf just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And I'm driving, of course, so I'll be roughly paraphrasing scriptures. But just by the Spirit, this was a movie that I checked out last night or whatever. I go to the Salvation Army store. They got 50-cent movies. You know what I'm saying? Like the originals for 50 cents. I'm like, hey, I grab a couple here and there sometimes. I'm playing my DVD player. So I grabbed this one yesterday and I actually watched it last night. May have to do a rewatch on it, but I overall got the grasp of it. But it's called Cold Mountain with Nicole Kidman, Jude Law. They're pretty much the main characters, and so basically, it's I think it's based in like the 1800s. War is going down, or war is just about to start, and I noticed that it was a church scene. I don't mean to get a movie away, but it was 2003 anyway, as far as I think when this came out. So it's but it's a good watch, But they had a church scene, and this guy comes in and he whispers to a guy, that they're about to go to war, and they're geeked about it, like we're getting our war, So they geeked about this war. They ready to go. But when it all came down to it, that shit was so drastic and rough that they a lot of them were called deserters. So you had this team of soldiers or whatever that they pretty much call it treason if you deserted them, which I guess that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Shit, if you out there fighting with somebody and then all of a sudden motherfucker busts up, But I guess it was getting long. It was getting senseless to some guys, but they was running guys down for treason. But the moral of the story, pretty much overall, this guy was in love with Nicole Kidman here, and she was in love with him. They writing back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And years goes on. This lady is waiting on this guy for years. But the starting point of the war is the point that I wanted to get to, was that when the guy rolled up and they was talking about we got our war, he was like, don't worry about it, we'll take care of your women. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much it was like a whole lot of women that was just left alone. And that kind of the scenes that I was seeing, it was like they had a scene where this guy he had deserted. He was like, fuck it, I'm going back home. But he was walking for a long time, man. Wherever he was, it was a nice distance from his state or whatever. But he's going through all kinds of stuff. But he's coming across women, that's trying to throw him the box. He came across one house where it was like 3 or 4 women in there. Even the man's husband, all the women was like, nope, that's me. I'm talking about like wild savages, like, no, he's mine tonight, type of deal. And so, it's just scene after scene, pretty much where it was no men. And then he comes across this one lady. I forgot what this lady name is. She played the little girl in that movie, The Professional, back in the days or whatever. But he came across her house. He's like, yeah, I'm a Confederate soldier, whatever's raining and all that shit. So he ends up, I'm just looking for food and a place to stay because it was raining hard as shit. So, she like, yeah, I got a rifle. So, but she ends up letting him in, and giving him, the baby is sick, and crying and shit from fever, whatever. But she's there by herself with the baby because her husband got killed in the war too. Younger chick, you know what I'm saying? Her husband was younger. He got killed. So, she loaned him, gave him some of the clothes from her husband and had him sleeping out in the barn or whatever. But she went and got him. She was like, can you do me a favor? Can you just at least lay with me? He telling her that, how he's in love with this lady, Nicole Kidman, basically the part. He's like, I'm in love with someone, whatever. But she was just like, shit, man, just hold me. So ended up, you know what I'm saying? He ended up, she started crying and shit because she's so lonely. And he holds her throughout the night. And then when they wake up in the morning, some damn, the deserter soldiers, was there, so they run off into the creek because they, she's seen them like, if they catch you in here, we're both gonna catch it bad. But they didn't give a shit anyway because he jumped out the window and ended up running out the back up and kind of like up a hill to the top of the woods, so to speak. But they ended up coming in there, snatching her ass out of there, put her baby out in the ground, and she was just screaming like, "Can you please cover him?" Because it was cold. They didn't give a shit. They, and then he snatches her up, take her back in the crib. About to take the box, and but that that goes off into the women, are the weaker vessel, man. Women are the weaker vessel. It was nothing she could do. They ended up taking her. She was like, "I got some chickens. I got a hog. You take that hog, I'm dead. I'm dead." Because they was pretty much relying on what they could. All the women in that movie were not doing well. It was just like they were running low on food. There's one lady right here to the right, Renee. I can't think of her last name. Right, I can't see her name, but she was the one. She was like the toughest lady in the movie. As far as handling growing food and sustaining or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because Nicole Kidman, she was real, real prissy and ladylike. You know what I'm saying? She was into flower arranging, and but she she couldn't grow a damn flower. But she was into piano, reading books, lady stuff, because they was really feminine back then. But hey, she held on, though, man. She waited on this guy. But anyway, the point that I wanted to make is that all the women in the movie, they were lonely, and they didn't have anyone, and a man was very valuable then. And that's what, roughly paraphrasing the scriptures, man. The man is going to be the Israelite man. The elect of the Israelite men are going to be valuable in these last days. And the Isaiah 4:1, you know what I'm saying, where it talks about 7 women shall take hold of one man. All that stuff is going to come into play, because the reason why there was no men, and the scriptures talked about that, how there's going to be a lot of widows, roughly paraphrasing, because of war. And when Esau get to drafting every damn body, you know what I'm saying, and he gets to getting down with his World War III type of deal, it's not gonna be, men are gonna be scarce. You got a large, well, you got a pretty decent population of the dudes that want to play the LGBTQ. You got a huge population of people, men in jail, or especially Jakes, among Jake. And it's gonna come a time where shit gonna get chaotic, and women are gonna really see that, yeah, I need a fucking man. I'm telling you, this movie right here is the perfect example of needing a man. And also, there's another part in there that was spiritual too. That was because when they finally did get back up with each other, he finally made it there to get up with her, and they was kind of, they was talking. Nightfall came, to sing, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, it really wasn't even nobody there to even marry them, to even, go to a church service and do all those things. And what Nicole Kidman told him, she was like, well, if you say to me 3 times, marry me, marry me, marry me, and I say it back to you 3 times, marry me, marry me, marry me, then we're married. And they said that shit and started kissing on each other and had sex. And so when the brothers, or the apostles and elders go off into sex consummates a marriage, that's exactly what it is. Because there's no such thing as a man getting on bended knee with a ring and asking a woman to marry him. That's not in the Bible. Those vows that they say in the church, that none of that stuff is in the Bible. Those are man-made ways of marriage, so to speak. And then you jumping in and allowing Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, to get in on the third party, where he's in your marriage now. He can just dictate, who gets what and whatever, in case she don't want to be with you, or he don't want to be with her, or whatever the case may be. Nowhere in the Bible does it say you have to go downtown and stand before a judge, and he's gonna bless your union, or even going to damn Vegas for that matter. I mean, if you ask me, if you're gonna get married, you might as well go to Vegas and do something cheap real quick. But the apostles say, always tell us that, no, don't get into none of that. Esau's government, man. We don't need no parts of him having no more control of our life than he already has. Type of deal. But I just wanted to point that out, man. I seen a few. It was a spiritual movie, because it was based, like I said, in the 1800s or whatever. That was a time when men were actually men. They were working the yards, they were working the fields, they was building things. The women were generally, chilling, you know what I'm saying, having tea parties, making sure that the home was okay, taking care of the children and things of that nature. So it was a time where a man had his place and a woman knew her place. And it wasn't like how it is today. So now you got women that's playing the role of a man, and it's not going to end well for them in these last days, man. They're going to see that I really need a man, and they're going to remember all the good men they ran off. It's not going to be no, I want somebody 6'3". He's got to be muscular. He's got to be making this amount of money. No, you're going to take a 4'3" guy that's just as wide as he is tall, scrunched up looking, whatever. You're not gonna be worried about none of those things, man, when shit really hits the fans, you know? So I just wanted to just touch on that for a hot sec. I didn't want to keep it long. It just popped back in my mind, this movie. And I really want to watch it again because, like I said, it was good. It had some really good actors in it. Um, you can pretty much see how I mean, it was all they could do was live off the land. They had little general stores. Of course, you had general stores that sold certain things or whatever. But all those people, man, mostly they was just living off the land. But it ended up it was just women with no men because they was all being killed in war. And the guy, he kept coming back to get more men. And it was just more and more men. And some of them dudes just got shook and was like, "Fuck that, man! I'm not doing this." And pretty much that goes off into the draft because that's what that guy was doing. I think his name was Teague in the movie. He ends up coming through and he comes through and basically like, hey, if you a man in this county or in this or in this particular state, then you have to join. I think they was based in South Carolina or something like that, Virginia, some crazy. I don't know. Anyway, but hey, those men were getting slaughtered, and that's what's gonna happen with World War III. When these men get shipped off, they're not coming back. It's not gonna be no coming back, man. When the shipment goes out, man, you're not coming back here. And you women, that's because they talking about drafting y'all as well. You're not coming back here. It's gonna be straight, all out chaos, man. Because one thing the guy did say, he was like, shit, man, whatever was in me that was human before, that shit not in me no more. That's what he told her when he got back. He was like, I mean, hey, it just is what it is, man. But the basis of the movie was the women were alone and they were scared and they were afraid and they actually, because it was a time period where they knew they needed men. It wasn't like like today. Like today, a woman will tell you straight up, I don't need you. I don't need no man. I can do this all by myself. But in the meanwhile, if you're not dependent upon the state getting food stamps or Section 8 or whatever the case may be, you working 2 to 3 jobs trying to hold shit down, and you're tired. I know people like that, man. I know a lot of women that is just like, man, they just, hey, they tired. They working 2 3 jobs trying to hold down these high ass bills. Then got kids and shit too, and they really need help. I can just see them like they moving slower, walking slow, got that look on their face of there's no brightness there. I got cousins like that, girl cousins. They struggling. They going through it, man. They going through it. Then ran off every good dude they've ever had. Like I got one cousin, her and my other little cousin. Well, she's my cousin, but her daughter, she's like 21, 22 or whatever. But shit, I'm like, damn. They was talking about they came by to get the lawnmower, asking me about my lawnmower. But I needed a repair on it, so it wasn't up and going at the time. But I'm like, well, shit. She was like, yeah, my yard is all out of hand. It's waist high. I'm like, God damn, y'all pretty, and they pretty too. Like y'all don't know no man that can come through and cut the grass for you. This is what it's done come to, because you used to have women where even if a guy was just trying to impress you, he would do that shit. He ain't even getting no boxing, he would do it, just trying to get up on you. The men not dealing like that no more. They're not just offering help no more. They don't, shit. The men, man, they don't care no more. They not opening no doors. They're not holding no doors open. They will, and actually they will get at you like a dude in the street out here these days. So that's why we say walk circumspectly and pray, man, and come under, hey, if hey, y'all better come underneath one of the men of the Lord, man, in these last days, because he's gonna be your head and your covering, like Yahweh Shai, is our head and covering, you know, and Yahweh, being overall the head and covering overall. But yeah, you women, man, it's gonna come a point, man, where trust me, it ain't looking good out here. I'm telling you, men don't have no respect like they used to for women, man. Going way back in those days, I'm just looking at like, because that's why I like to watch period pieces. I like to watch older movies or movies that's set in the older time period or older days to kind of get that glimpse of what it was like. The women all had dresses on. They wasn't all provocative. You know what I'm saying? And dressed all skimpy. They actually had a sense of shamefacedness. You know, not these days, man. So hey, you come a long America has come a long ways from that lifestyle. See, but things are starting to be reversed, man, and we're going to go back to that sort of that type of living, so to speak. When the kingdom comes, women are going to be in a place. It wasn't no women in back then, so to speak. They wasn't disrespecting their husbands and stuff like that. They were just, hey, they kept on the move. They handled stuff around the house. They was out doing gardening. They was, even handling the animals at some certain points if the men were doing something else, But hey, they had fresh food, and the house was kept, and that's what they done, man. And, but now it's like these women for the streets, boy. They out here in these streets. But I'm gonna end out there, man. I didn't want to. Matter of fact, let me see though. Pulling up on this light. Let me grab this one real quick here, if I can. Slovakia. Says Isaiah 4 and 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So that's coming, man. Can you imagine that? It's going to be some serious shit going on where, especially a so called black woman saying something like that. She's going to share you with 6 other women, possibly. And that number 7 goes into completion. So we really don't know what's the number really, the real number is going to be for certain men. Some men are going to have more than others. So yeah, man, we coming into some times where women are definitely gonna go back to what they supposed to be. Let me see. I might be able to read this, and let me see how it reads in the easy to read version. I'm at another light. At that time, 7 women will grab one man and say, "Please marry us. We will supply our own food and make our own clothes. You won't have to do anything else if you let us wear your name and take away our shame." See? Cause see, right now Jake got to go through all kinds of hoops. You know, trying to take him out to dinner, spending all kind of money to impress him. These women even talking about you can't take me here, take me there for a first date. Just riding on a high cloud, man. But it's gonna come a point where it's gonna get so rough that you're gonna accept this. You're not gonna be like, oh well, I don't eat at Cheesecake Factory. Well, I don't eat here. I don't want. I can't believe him. He trying to take me to, ain't gonna be no damn Ruth Chris. Ain't gonna be Benny Hanna's or wherever the hell y'all these popular places that you trying to eat at and making it while you taking selfies of your damn plate and your daiquiri. Ain't gonna be none of that shit, man. Gonna be none of that. It's gonna come a point where y'all gonna be on that tip of, hey, look, man, just hey, deal with me, please. Just deal with me, please. I'll share you. So things got to get rough for a woman in America, an American woman. Psh, come on, bro. To get to this point, oh man, it's gonna have to be real rough. It's gonna have to be something really, really scary, right? So with that, I pray that this lesson was edifying. Kwam Yashala.